This is unit 256. So far, just pulling up on it, doesn't look too bad. The door looks pretty clean. I mean, a little bit of stuff on the bottom of the doorknob, door handle here. All in all, doesn't look too bad. Got a little stain on the floor. Wrap bait needs to be put back. Look here though, on the inside of the door, this is where it's really starting to need some work right here. So this is the beginning. We'll show you what it's going to look like all finished. So the first thing that we're doing here is you want to get the dust off the walls and the back of the door first before you start sweeping the floor and everything. So what we're doing here first is to get the big stuff off, and we're using a broom to kind of push the bulk of the dust off these doors. And then from that point, I'll show you the next step after that, where we ended up adding some water. So once he has the door, now he moves on to the wall. Systematically just going up and down. And you just don't have to get crazy with it. Just trying to get the layer of dust off it. If somebody leans a mattress or something up against it or something nice, you still want the dust on it. You can see all this dust that came off the door, how bad it is. So it's really important to do what we just did. You can see it on the walls. So the next step after you've done the doors, the door and the walls, is to actually sweep the floor. So you're going to get in there with your broom, trying to get the corners best you can. Some of the facilities will actually have vacuum cleaners, cordless, that'll help in this process. Sometimes there's an actual deeper channel on these side walls, and you need to get in there with the vacuum cleaner. But anyway, you can see here how Santos is just rolling the edges, getting all the dust out of all the corners, and then it'll sweep into the center. Now Santos is onto the fine bristle brush on the push broom to kind of get the balance of the dust up. You can really see how it's coming together. If you look at the floor like this, it doesn't look too bad, but you can see the whole edge, how dusty this room became after just doing the walls. And when we first opened the door, it almost looked like this unit didn't look too bad. You can see how much dust is still left in this room. It's crazy. So this is another method right here. This is a brush that you would use to like wash a car. And it's just lightly damp, and just working the ribs same way as a rag. Actually, you don't even have to get on a ladder, and you can work both sides of it. It seems pretty efficient. So after all the walls are wiped down, same process. You're gonna get a wet rag, wring it out so it's damp, and you're gonna go through now and wipe each one of these individual grooves in the door. And you know, this is a little bit of work right here if you want to do a really nice job. You know, you're coming through the door, you can see that he's kind of going into each crevice way back in the corner and really getting the dirt. So there's a little bit of a process right here. So obviously you need a ladder to be able to get up to the upper stuff and then kind of work your way down. But I'm not quite sure if you can see the results, but it's truly, you know, brings the door back to like a new finish right here. And again, if this is being done on a regular basis, then you know, this isn't a big process. But this door's probably never been cleaned on the inside. So after we go ahead and clean this door, the next move would be to lubricate the hinge. This is the hinge here. Joe's going to show you. We're just using a garage door lubricant, and this particular hinge, you can tell that it's rusty, and we're just going to put a nice coat over the whole hinge. And it makes it nice and shiny and keeps it nice and lubricated. You got to be able to get to the back side, so Joe's spraying it from the back side. And then this particular door does seem a little bit loose, and so he's going to give it one notch on the tightener. And so if you can see here, he puts it in one of the knuckles. I'm going to try to get up in there. There it is, one of the knuckles right there. And he's going to pull down until it clicks. There you go. He clicked one notch right there. And that should make the difference in this door coming up and down much easier. This is where you're going to go ahead and wipe down the top of the door with a wet rag to get the bulk of the dust off, and then you'll move on to the next step. So this is an alternative method. This is Mr. Clean. This is actually a car soap, but it's super concentrated and leaves a nice shine. And so Joe starts by actually cleaning the upper half with a rag, and it's always tough. I didn't show that part. And then he uses his broom, which is it's actually a wash brush that I can wash a vehicle with. He sprays that down, just using a spray bottle, as you saw. A few squirts, don't even need a lot. And then he's just working it back and forth, lathering it up. Doesn't create a lot of water. You know, you're not using a hose and really making a big mess, getting water inside somebody's unit. And basically, it's like washing a car at this point, super efficient. So I'll bring you back in when he starts wiping it down.
Bring it down until it gets a little bit of wine inside.
Mm-hmm. So now he's using clean water. He's taking the brush with clean water and just working the soap off. He's just doing a couple rows at a time. Kind of lets the water run down. You can see this door is just looking, like at the right angle, but it's looking brand new. It looks really nice. Probably going into the sun, probably not the right thing to do. So here we are. This is after the door has been cleaned. Now we're back in the unit, and we're going to give it this last little brush out before we mop the floor and get it ready to put the wax down. But we don't want to have any dust left on the cement, because that just gets trapped underneath the wax. So Santos is really trying to push out this dust. Now, if you have a small vacuum, which most stores will, this is the opportunity to use the little vacuum to pick up in these little corners or down in these grooves. It works perfect. You can see here that the dust kind of builds up in these corners, and that's what Santos is working on now. We'll get all that out, and we'll mop it next. So we are mopping the floor here. Santos is just using a rag. He's actually trying to keep it clean. He's rinsing it out right now. He's just putting it on the end of our mop that we've been using. I call this a mop, but this is it's a brush that's used to wash vehicles with. It's kind of a soft bristle, and you can scrub with it and it won't hurt the paint. But you can see here he's keeping a nice even line here. Kind of just what this is doing, it's taking all the dust off the floor, so when you go to wax it, you're not trapping all that dust in the floor. And you've probably seen this before where it gets trapped. The floor ends up still looking kind of dirty because you're just trapping the dirt underneath it. Doing a little spot stain removing. You see a couple little spots. You can, there's a degreaser, and just try to work those little stains out. It looks worse right now, but the concrete actually absorbs the moisture because it's porous. It starts to look worse, but these stains actually fade out. Joe's got an actual soft scrub brush, and that really helps to try to draw the stain out of the concrete. So this is really the last step right here before we're going to go ahead and put the sealer on. Yeah, if there's even a tough stain and it's got a little residue on it, you could use a scraper with the grease remover, and that really helps as well.
We need and we keep adding.
So we're using a regular paint tray. We're going to put some wax in the paint tray. And then we're going to go ahead and take just a regular brush, and we're going to cut in all the edges first. And then we'll start using a mop to fill in the field area. So I'll break away to that.
Because they're going to tell you what exactly is the degrees to apply it.
So Santo is cutting in the edges right now with a paintbrush. This is just it's the wax. It's got this white milky look to it. And we were just discussing, if you put on the wax too thick, especially in colder temperatures, it'll have a tendency to leave a white residue. So you don't want to put this on too thick if the temperatures are in the cold region. If it's a nice warm day, you could lay it on pretty thick and you're not going to get that problem. So it's probably like 5-10 minutes. Go around the outer edge with the brush and cut it in, and then I'll come back on when we get into the field with the mop. Okay. So now he's starting to spread the wax. He's just catching the edge of that mop. Kind of just working it. Just catching the edge of that. Just pulling it towards him. It's a big deal though, it really, it's a nice touch. Just makes this place seem, extra clean. So there you go, that's what a nice wax floor and a unit that's been, super cleaned, all the walls. It's got the finished map and cleaning card here, everything checked off. So yeah, what a difference. So I mean, it was looking okay when we got here, but this is taking it up a notch. This is what the expectation is. Here is a list of essentials to get the job done correctly. This should be part of your manager Bible.